we are still talking about the institutional preparedness, compliance, and operational efficiency. But basically, when I look at it as very broad, not narrowing it down to INEC, because basically one of the things we need to understand is there are in Nigeria today, and I'm going to be as practical as possible as somebody that has always been on the feed on election. In Nigeria today, there are about 7 institutions that manages our election. And we need to check with them, do like a sound check with them, how prepared are they? And I'm just going to lay out some data and then to ask ourselves if they are really, really prepared. But let me first of all mention those institutions, because most times we think about INEC. But number one, political party. Yeah. They are the actual players, political party. Number 2, INEC, they are the referee. Number 3, security agencies. In fact, it is being said, and we have seen that in various elections, wherever the security agencies are neutral, there is likelihood of having a credible election. Then number 4, the judiciary. And I think this is this constituency. I hope you know that election is not completed until the Supreme Court will sit or declare. So we need to begin to look at that institution too, the judiciary. How prepared are you for the elections? The next, the media. They control the narrative. They control what they want us to hear and what we should not hear. And then, surprisingly, it's only in Nigeria we have this next institution I want to mention, and that is the CBN. CBN is involved in our election. They keep all the sensitive material with them. I hope you know that. But let me now give you you will think that is just like an harmless responsibility of custody. But I take you to 2023 Kogi off-cycle governorship election. There was a local government. This local government in that election, Ogorimagongo, they could not vote in some ward in that particular local government, Ogorimagongo. Now, what happened was that when the presiding officer wanted to start conducting the election, some of the party agents said, come, let's see the result sheet. Result sheet new from CBN. By the time they opened it, it was already pre-filled. Results was already written before election. So the question is, who have access to that result sheet that was meant to be with the CBN? Anyway, the former chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, said they are going to investigate, and we are still waiting for the outcome of the investigation. But in actual sense, another thing that happened there was that the entire wards were disenfranchised because they could not vote. And then the last one is the citizen. All these must have an handshake for us to have a credible election, and in terms of institutional preparedness. Today, the election, 2027 election, is about 262 days. That is the 8th election since we returned to democracy in 1999. 8th election, then it's about 262 days. Now, the question I keep asking is this: if we have been conducting an election, this one is going to be the 8th one. Don't let us count the off-cycle. I think we should have come to a point of perfection. But what do we have today? I won't go deeper into that, but the next thing I want us to look at again is the magnitude of our election in Nigeria. INEC is one of the institutions across Africa. In fact, Nigeria election in Africa is the most cumbersome, logistically demanding. Because when you are conducting an election in Nigeria, you are conducting an election for 11,082 seats. For executive, 811, you look at 36 state governor, president, and then and the rest. Then you look at the legislative seat, state houses of assembly, 993 seats, Senate 109, state of House of Rep 360. Then you now look at the councillors. Those are the seats. 11,882. Now let's now look at the number of polling units. The number of polling units is over 176,000. With, in 2023, 93 million registered voters. That 93 million registered voters is more than the population of about 5 West African countries. Gambia, just put them together. Now, INEC is supposed to conduct election for these people. And they are going to deploy to over 176,000 polling units. Now, in 2023, INEC employed the services for election, employed the services of over 1 million staff, ad hoc staff. In fact, just look at 4 staff multiplied by 176,000. That is like about 708 or thereabout, or 700,000. So you've not even calculated their own staff. So now, they are going to manage logistics, they are going to manage distribution, they are managing security, because according to the Electoral Act, even the security agency at that polling unit cannot take any step without the presiding officer, cannot arrest. And I find that I am trying to understand why an inspector will be in a polling unit, and if the copper did not tell you to act, you should not act. Somebody is doing this because the copper has not told you to do anything. But this is our law. So that is exactly what it is. Now, what am I trying to talk about is that, first of all, let us first of all clap for INEC. I'm not saying clap literally, because they have a lot of responsibility on their neck to do. And at the same time, some people have argued that should we need to unbundle this INEC so that they can have time to conduct election. In the election that brought Trump in, we were in US monitoring that election, observing the election, and I have the opportunity of getting to their own neck, National Electoral Commission, in the US. Do you know what they do? Surprisingly, the only thing they do is to monitor and campaign finance. Each of the states conducts the election themselves. So I said, look, Mr. Chairman, you are enjoying. Come to INEC in Nigeria. The chairman in INEC, I'm telling you, if you listen to his experience, you will know that you are enjoying. But this is where I'm going. I am saying that, look, you have a lot, because this same INEC do procurement, issue contracts, do procurement now of the ballot paper, whatever. Now they are in charge of prosecuting election offenders. Now, though we expect the security agency to do that, but hand over the form, the file to them, and they go to court. We expect them to manage political parties. The law also said they are the one to monitor campaign finance. They are also the one to conduct voter education. Meanwhile, there is one agency called National Orientation Agency. So, we have asked, but the challenge with National Orientation Agency is that they have been starved of budget. So, we are looking at institutional preparedness. So, even National Orientation Agency, how prepared are they? I can tell you, in the past election, we have seen a situation where INEC will have to outsource money to National Orientation Agency to go and conduct voter education. But let's even leave that. When you look at voter education in terms of preparedness, it is primarily not the responsibility of INEC to conduct voter education. What about the political party who are the beneficiary of the vote? What are they doing? Why are they not supposed to conduct voter education? Let me give you an example. And I came with a lot of data, but I just compress it. In 2019, that election, we have over 1 million, I think like about 1.4 million thereabout, invalid votes. Invalid. What is that invalid? Invalid is a situation where which intention of the voter is not known. So what it means is that over 1 million people came out to vote under the rain and under the sun, and their vote was not counted. So what it means is that, look, that vote will have gone to a political party if they have conducted voter education. However, we have been in the room where political parties are saying, INEC is not conducting voter education. But who are the beneficiary of that? Now, quickly, I know I have 2 minutes. But the issue here is this. In the past, since we returned to democracy in 1999, election has been shifted 2 times. 2015 and 2019. What were the reasons? In 2015, it's a combination of security concern. You remember, Dasuki went to the UK to announce they are going to shift the election. Now, and also logistic concern. In 2019, it was purely logistic. Now, I'm just laying this so that we can, on our own, ask, how ready are we? Now we now have an electoral act that has compressed the time a bit. So, in 2023, you have, the law says INEC should have their money 1 year ahead. Notice of election 1 year ahead. As I'm talking to you now, we know when the president just signed the budget. So, INEC, let's even leave 93 million ballot paper. You know we are more than that now. INEC is supposed to print 93 million ballot paper. And by understanding what they should do is that they should print more than 93 million. Do you know why? What if there is a runoff? So you look at how huge amount of ballot paper procurement they need to do. Now we compress the time. Now, naturally, we're supposed to have election February. We talk about fasting and cogent, but you will expect that we shift it forward. Because the law says not later than 30 days at which you hand over or something like that. But then we move it back. So now mounting pressure on ourselves, on INEC, and this is my concern. 60% of INEC leadership is likely going to be new to conduct the election. 60% of them. I give you, our chairman of INEC is new. Some national commissioners are new. Some recs are going to be new as we move to 2027 election. And I think when you are going to, you see, you don't go to World Cup and be testing players. So these are the challenges. So if you are going, our general election is like a World Cup. We have to put in our best with experience, with everything. But what do we have today? So let me leave that. I won't talk about that. But what about in terms of the other part of which I will just anchor on? I have some other things, but I will just stop on this. The aspect of institutional readiness, preparing, operational, but I will just zero in on what I call trust. As it is today, whatever the psychology and the theory and of election is that election is about perception. You can't take that away. Let me give you an example. Some people will talk about 1993 June 12th election. They say free, fair. But does that mean the election did not have any challenge? But the overriding perception was that it was free and fair. And then we accepted that. In 2015, we also accepted, because Jonathan lost, Incumbent lost, we accepted it was fairly good election. Now, perception. Now, the issue here is this. My organization just did an analysis. We look at in 1 month, just this 1 month, and we stop at April 15, thereabout. No, April 20. Conversation around election. We saw that there are, across all major news outlets and online, 257 news, different news, topics, news are on election, 2027 election. And then doing the analysis, that in 1 month, that news reached 353 million people. Reach, you know. Now, this is the issue. Analyzing it further, 71% are raising concern, and the language at which they were using is that they don't trust this INEC. They don't trust this judiciary. An election is about perception. And we are going into an election with this perception. And then INEC itself was not even helping matters. And for me, I am not a lawyer. Please, first of all, permit me. But this is my point, because I know that some people call us from South Africa and say, what is going on in Nigeria? We are hearing this. Well, we said there is something a judge pronounced. It is called status quo ante bellum. But INEC said this is the meaning. And do you know what the people said? He said, why will INEC interpret? Can't INEC go to court and interpret it? I say, court, this is it. Please interpret it, because we have had different versions. Permit me to say that my background, before I get into election, I was a banker. In Kutuwenji, debit is debit, credit is credit. If you come to Yenogwa, debit is debit, credit is credit. But when you come to legal profession, status quo ante bellum mean different things to different lawyers. So, but that is why you need to, and so this is my point. We need to find a means. How ready are we? We can be ready budgetarily. We can be ready operationally, which I also don't believe we are ready operationally, because of the magnitude of the deployment we need to make, and the time has been compressed. As of now, INEC itself cannot tell you who and who is going to be on the ballot, because we are waiting for the court. And we have successfully played into the hand of the politicians who believe that whatever the ballot cannot give you, the court can give you. And so that is the genesis of this. In 2023, we had post-election litigation 1,209. Pre-election alone is 1,893 pre-election. Now, 815 of them got to appeal court, while 403 got to Supreme Court. Pre-election. Now, are we prepared? Is the judiciary prepared for this one now? By next month, you will be seeing all manners of this. So I think what we need to do is to see a situation where we calm down. This electoral act cannot save us. If you think it will save us and impose credibility on this election, no. What will save us is that the institution must come and make sure that it is Nigerian first. INEC tweeted, greeting us for Easter, and they were talking about the combination. You will know that the person that posted that thing has been using AI. It must be, and the AI just look at what he has been talking about. So the AI just helped the person to put renew and hope, and all of them just put it together in one. That is eroding institutional trust. So I think what we need to do is let's build the trust for the citizen and restore the trust for judiciary and also INEC. If we are not going to do this thing, security agencies, their role is just one way. But if they are not going to do this thing, we will just be having an election. But I hope you know, as of today, Nigeria is classified as authoritarian democracy. because we are having an election, but in the actual sense, we are not practicing democracy. So, my closing word is the credibility of the Nigerian election, 2027 election, will not be decided on the election day. It will be determined by how well institutions prepare, coordinate, and comply long before the first ballot is cast. And it starts from now. Thank God for what we are doing is good, but I think we need that. Thank
you. What a stimulating solution from Executive Director of Impact Development.